Hey, let's see. Representative Walsh and then Representative Paul.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I've heard from a couple of qualified contractors who've worked with WSDOT in the past, and they are concerned about this notion of risk and risk shifting. And what they say to me, and I'm trying to crystallize it because it sort of goes on and on, but basically it's the way that the department is defining contractual risk and the shift of contractual risk is something that discourages more bids from coming in. I mean, I'm simplifying this, but that's the gist of it. Are you hearing the same from contractors? Are you asking contractors who aren't bidding if the handling of the unknown elements of these contracts is what's discouraging, a normal, robust number of bids coming in?
Yes, we are asking that question, and yes, we are hearing that from industry. I think there's two things that I'll say about it. First, when contractors have choices about which projects to pursue, when we put out one that does have risk assigned to them, it looks less attractive to them. And then also with the amount of work that we're trying to complete and the complexity of these projects, these are huge projects, we are trying to assign the appropriate risk to contractors, especially when we think that they could manage it once we get under contract. But that's not always appealing to them right now because there's other jobs that don't have those same risks. We use design build for those larger complex projects, and it is set up to do that risk balance, but it's just not as attractive as it once was.
Please proceed.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Yes, I think we're talking along the same lines here. What I'm hearing is contractors who are not small but mid-size are having trouble kind of making the step to that design build element where they can absorb more uncertainty in the contract. And maybe if we can do something to manage that risk differently or to encourage the mid-sized contractor to step up to a larger project, you might get more traction on your RFPs and your RFQs and other contract situations. So maybe we should talk offline or more, but I think we need to do something to give more incentive to the ones who are just on the cusp of being large enough to absorb more risk in a project.
I would be happy to talk to you. Yeah.
Thanks.
I'm going to follow up on Representative Walsh because he's gone down a path that I think I've been thinking about. For WSDOT's purposes, do you now question design bid is the most attractive way of doing business, or maybe going back either to design bid build, or progressive design bid, where we don't run into these problems of risk and discouraging people who may not have the financial backing to step out there and risk their business on taking one of WSDOT's projects?
I wouldn't say that we're ready to say design build is not a good model for us. It's proven to be an excellent model for delivery of a lot of projects, but we are exploring what can we do from a risk assignment standpoint to modify what we're doing to try to encourage more participation. Bid build is not a good solution for some of these really large projects because then WSDOT's retaining a risk that we're not in a great position to manage. We would rather bring in the innovation of industry to try to get these larger complex projects done. You mentioned progressive design build. I mentioned this yesterday. That's a new tool for us that we had just gotten started with. I think it could be one of the tools that can be used to help with this problem, but we're still learning. We are hearing feedback from industry that there's an interest to use that as well. So it's something that we're definitely exploring.